What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a Scotch single malt. It's a one I've been waiting to do a review on for a while. Actually, it's the GlenAllachie. This is a 10-year Cask Strength, batch 2. Check it out, guys. GlenAllachie Cask Strength. So we got batch 2. Like I said, it's speyside whiskey. So what you get with the speyside whiskey, these fruity, speyside kind of fruity notes. Most of the whiskey, there is peated speyside whiskeys, but this is not one of them. Most of the whiskeys are fruity though. And this one falls in that ballpark. But GlenAllachie means Valley of the Rock. If you look at the bottle, it's kind of got like this rock, like caveman theme. Almost looks like the Flintstones kind of lettering on there. You know what I mean? But I think that's the theme they go with, just because it's supposed to look rocky and cavemanish because of the what it means in Gaelic, meaning Valley of the Rocks. So it's 10 years, natural color, non-show filtered. So Billy Walker, who came from Glendronach and the Beneriac distilleries and stuff like that, left to come and do be that master distiller at GlenAllachie, which, man, that guy's killing it over there. 10 year. So the color on this, just looking at this one, I got this one poured up. It's been sitting for about 2 minutes. It's typical Scotch, but every batch with this one, normally I would say, all right, well, with a bourbon, you have different single barrels. One single barrel may be slightly different than the other one, depending on how they do it. So with, say, like Four Roses, they use a different yeast strand. So one batch strength might taste a good bit different than this one because they're different, using different yeast strand would yield different flavors in the whiskey. This one, huge variation. So with the color on this, it looks like a typical 10-year, I guess. It's got like a pale kind of straw color, maybe a little darker. It's sherry cask, so it's two different kinds of sherry. They have PX sherry, first filled PX, and some Oloroso sherry. But some other GlenAllachie batches that I've had of this, completely dark. I mean, it looks like bourbon, dark as can be. They have one of them that really, you wouldn't better tell the difference from a bourbon. It's a 10-year Scotch, but I think they may put it in the sherry cask a little longer because sherry yields like a darker kind of flavor on it. But this is batch 2, and I think this is maybe one of the lighter batches I've ever seen. Probably the lightest batch of GlenAllachie Cask Strength I've ever seen. The 10-year at least. They do different cask variations too with different wine finishes and stuff like that, but this is one of their core whiskeys, the 10-year Cask Strength. The 12 year is one I've done a review on, which is great. The 12 year is really good. That one comes at 96. This one's coming in, they say it's Cask Strength, but for a bourbon guy, it's not that high, but it's 54.8. So you're looking at a little bit over 112 proof, maybe 113. So it's not that high for a whiskey in general, but for a Scotch it's high. They don't really bottle a whole lot of Scotch at higher proofs, I find. On the nose though, this is one I found. You kind of got to search for it. I mean, on the nose you do get stuff. There is some notes you pick up. It's fruity. You can almost smell the fruit right when you get into it. But one of the first things that I picked up on it was like this red licorice. You get like a red licorice note, some mint, which is, it's different. I don't normally get that from a lot of Scotch, but maybe a little hint of like some butterscotch, but it's very faint. Really no oak. You don't get really an oak presence on the nose. But that's really the main thing that you get is that red licorice. A little touch of butterscotch, caramel. And that real like a wintergreen minty note. Let's try it on taste, guys. Everything comes out in the flavor. Freaking chameleon of a whiskey. So fruits right off the bat. Heavy butterscotch. Sherry fruits. It goes into like raisins, berry kind of note with that sherry fruit. And then spices come in the finish. The oak, you do get a little touch of oak. It's not a heavy oak. The oak comes in on the finish of it with the spices. But right whenever you taste it, you get an immediate fruits, sherry fruit with that butterscotch. I think actually the butterscotch, then the sherry fruits come in. Try it again. Definitely heavy on the fruits, but I mean, typical speyside. And then being Cask Strength, it's gonna be heavy on the fruits. You're gonna get more of a punch with it. Butterscotch, almost like a vanilla icing. It goes into right before them spices pick up. Bacon spices, you get cinnamon, a little nutmeg, and it goes into that little bitty like a little oak touch. And goes into a finish, which the finish is fairly long on it. I mean, it's finishing as I speak. You still getting the spices and the little hint of oak note in there. It lasts for quite a while for a 10-year whiskey. Like my mindset on age statements was a lot of the blended scotch you get. There's really not much of a finish on it. Now, I don't want to say all blended scotches don't have a finish because some of them I've had, they do come up like. There's some older whiskeys they put into the blends, like especially the Blue Hanger whiskeys. There's some old Bunnahabhain. There's some old Mortlock and stuff like that they put into those blends that have an age to it that will carry that finish. But for a 10-year whiskey, I know for a bourbon, 10 years up there. That's a pretty well-aged bourbon. For a scotch, 10 years, like that's where you start at. That's pretty much a lot of companies' base models. I say models or base expressions. You're right at 10 years. But for this one, man, the finish was really good. And that Cask Strength, higher alcohol proof is carrying that finish on for a younger age stated whiskey, for a younger whiskey. The alcohol proof really is carrying that finish on. It's great. The GlenAllachie 12 year was fantastic. That one's, like I said, I want to say it's 92 proof. But it's great for a 92 proof of whiskey. Decent finish. This one's finish is a lot longer because I think with GlenAllachie, it benefits from the higher age. I mean, from the higher proof, from the higher alcohol content. Just being 10 years is fantastic at this proof. So I've heard, this is the first GlenAllachie Cask Strength 10 year that I've had. But being batch 2, I've heard this is not one of their best batches. So with that being said, if I can get a hold of the later batches, maybe like a 7 or an 8, I think it'd be fantastic. But this is one of the younger batches. This is batch 2, but even batch 1 was a little darker than this one from what I've seen. But I like it. Would really look forward to getting another batch of this. Maybe try 2 different batch variations compared to this one, but I love this one, really do. If this is the weakest link of all the batches, damn, I like to taste what else they're making. But to be honest with you, on Whiskey Couyon rating on this, I like it. I really do. I'm going 8.25 on it. So it's still, it's up there. It's one of the best 10 years scotches I've had. with, I think, Springbank 10-year being like the epitome of the 10-year Scotch, which that's kind of hard to mess with. But this GlenAllachie 10 is really, really good. It's up there. But that's it for the GlenAllachie 10 Cask Strength, guys. Batch 2. Come out, we're looking at some whiskey reviews coming out pretty soon. I'm going to head down to Louisiana probably in April and probably hook up with Ryan, do some reviews, do some kind of reviews together. We got a few special bourbons I'm bringing down there, so I'd like his input on some of the bourbons I've got recently. So we're going to do a couple of reviews, at least 2 or 3 reviews while I'm down there. But look for that in the near future. Check us out on our Facebook page and like this video. If you've ever had GlenAllachie, if you had another batch, even this batch, I know I haven't seen a whole lot of people review this batch or even get into this batch, but if you've had GlenAllachie Cask Strength, any batch of the 10-year, tell me what you think about it. And if you know, support the channel, like us, and subscribe if you like the whiskey content we're putting out. And we see you guys in the next video.